She wore leopard print everything and a golden necklace that read slut, which, I'm not going to lie, even on our first date, I found appealing. She gave bikers lap dances and then spit on them when they made advances. She sent me out to the bodega every afternoon for a straw for her wake-up PBR in bed. I feel sorry for the girls who had to follow her. So spoiled was I in her understanding of what I needed and deserved. I mean, if someone is patriotic enough to do the USO tour, they shouldn't have to go on directly after the Andrews sisters. I once briefly hung out with a squatter who conscientiously cared for rich folks' dogs, and who has since disappeared due to whatever mists squatters disappear into when they're no longer on Avenue C. She whiled away her hours getting overserved and undercharged by me at Mars Bar. I recall passing her a bag of Coke, and she held my hand and smiled, the sort of smile that girls from homes with locks, gardens, and dads without trap marks flash in their senior photos above quotes from Louder Than Bombs. Then she realized what I was doing. She said, "Oh, I thought you were just being sweet," and went into the bathroom. My distaste for those who keep dogs in the city is mitigated by the memory of her slipping out of a torn, faded, and sleeveless black t-shirt in a midtown apartment with a well-stocked medicine chest. There's been, of course, a fair share of pathos on my end, but I fear most of it veered toward the tragicomic. There was R, who dumped me because I couldn't fight. I truly can. And C, the dancer from Scores, about whom my band wrote What They Teach You at RISD, and who invited another man along on her second date. T, who had to tolerate the sort of boy who would post Frank O'Hara's animals on her apartment door, and who is now dating that Marine who wrote Jarhead. And S, who memorably rejected me on my birthday for a member of, wait for it, the Black Halos, Canada's intensely unasked for answer to degeneration. That was the last time I cried in public. And I should write a letter of thanks every year to the staff of Lakeside Lounge for setting me straight on what kind of behavior is appropriate for a man over the age of 15 sitting at their bar. I have to believe in love, or something akin to it, for the same reasons that Schliemann had to believe in Troy. The stories are there, the architecture is conceivable, and the doubters are less interesting than the partisans. While I suppose myths can still sustain you even if you just see them as useful archetypes, no one wants to be a bore. Better to suspend your disbelief and worship at an altar, any altar. After all, happiness, like patience towards small children, can be accomplished. If, that is, happiness is what you're going for. The best relationship I ever had was with my perfect neighbor. My perfect neighbor lived a block away from me and never went to bed before noon, and was generally completely faced. She had zero interest in sleeping with me, but she liked having me around and talking it. I could call her at 7 in the morning on some awful pill and powder combination that no news weekly had gotten around to naming since no white children had died from it yet. And she would pick up after the 5th ring and say, "Of course you can come over. I have people here. It's a thing." And I would. And her friends would ignore me or gently patronize me because I didn't know as forward. And I would crawl under the covers and wait for someone to pass me a bottle or a line, and then I would sleep, dreaming of exactly where I was until the late afternoon. My perfect neighbor was lazy about the bindings on her clothes and rigorous in her bathing. So there was always a lot of skin being shown, but it was less a tease than a sign you were welcome to take your shoes off. And if occasionally we slipped up, came from dead parents and knew to keep love in a box with frilly ribbons, was only to be opened on special occasions like birthdays and bad California fashion going-away parties. When she moved west to teach something I could never comprehend at a school that's easy to mock, I began a sulk that resembled a period of mourning. I have a framed photo of us in white 1950s gaudy apparel, the night we went to Dirty Dancing of Anna Nights, and I keep it near the foot of my bed. A friend recently told me that he was seeing, in a professional capacity, a therapist because he was tired of waking up angry. Acknowledging the surfeit of other problems that would hopefully be addressed, I accepted this, but still thought, at the time, that if it weren't for waking up angry, I wouldn't wake up at all. Irrational, self-pitying anger that starts in the shoulders and hops merrily into the dreams is what gets me to work on time. But I never woke up angry in my perfect neighbor's bed. Confused or aroused, but never angry. And if waking up next to a beautiful saran-wrapped weirdo, late in the afternoon, midweek, with the day ahead threatening to obliterate the happiness you'd spent the last 18 hours scrabbling together into a shiny soap bubble of potential warmth and safety, and not wanting to punch your own mother in the face for birthing you to this awful, unstable place, isn't the ideal of true romantic love, then, clearly, I have no idea what is.